I know you're a resident Kanye super fan. So let me ask you, Ian, before we get into the whole kind of meat and potatoes of this. How have your feelings on Kanye changed over the last couple of years? Because when you started, you were like straight up super fan Ian, and has your status in the community is kind of wavered too, hasn't it? Because you've been kind of critical of him.
I mean, I guess, but my opinions have changed a bit because it's becoming more. I was a fan of the music, the clothes, you know the performances, and that's kind of taken a big backseat. So you know, I don't just because it's him like what's going on now. I was originally here for the music, and there's not as much of that. I don't know right now. So, but every Kanye fan has to be a publicist every time he does dramatic stuff. It's great.
Do you feel like you're a publicist right now?
I get texts from what's going on?
Hmm.
What's up with your guy? My parents text me, what's happening? I'm like, I don't know.
Do you
He has
still
some
do you
good albums. I don't know about this.
do you still spend time on the forums, the Kanye forums?
I mean, for a lot of other stuff, it's not just Kanye. I go online for music stuff.
Hmm.
I'm definitely big in talking to people about music in general. But yeah,
So
I don't know.
okay, so your opinions have changed a little bit on Kanye. He's announced he's running for president. Now I know that like the community is kind of torn. People didn't really know how to react to this announcement. He tweeted out on July 4th, of all days, the Independence Day. We must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision, and building our future. I am running for president of the United States 2020 vision. Now this now this one obviously got a lot of media attention and people are very torn uh on how to feel about this. Now, I'm wondering how did the Kanye community feel about this?
I guess they are very torn as well, but at the same time, this is probably the fifth or sixth time where he has indicated his intent to run for president, um, which Kanye fans know all those. So this isn't as shocking, and a lot of people still think that this won't happen, including myself. I don't expect him to meet the deadline. Um,
I mean,
yeah,
he said in that interview that he's doing it to win, like everything else he does, right? Or something like that.
yeah, and he just put out a new song a week ago. It's just his level of promotion, his media attention, and then the album comes out.
Yeah.
This is a cycle you've seen before.
Yes.
Now, there was a
That feels to me really shitty because I don't know. This election is so serious. I feel like for me and probably for everyone, and to play around with that for the end goal of selling more albums is kind
Do you see it that
of
way,
shitty.
Ian, as a Kanye spokesperson?
I don't know if he sees it as in those terms, like, oh, I'm going to tweet this and then my sales are going to go up. I even think he made a comment like, I put my music out on streaming, I don't make anything of it. Because they asked him in that Forbes interview. But I do think on some level he's aware that this is brand building.
Yeah.
And it may not be as direct as this equals album sales.
Right,
but
but
it's
he's
like
smart. He's
build it up, build it up.
He's a smart businessman. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. So, and he does it every time. I think he just does a thing, and then he uses that thing to kind of fuel energy for creative outlets afterwards. So,
Someone made a really good comment. Oh, I think it was Charlemagne, actually. I agree with Charlemagne in this case. He said, like, Kanye has announced he wants to run for president a bunch of times, as you pointed out. Why is it now that the media is turning this into like a serious thing? Like he's said this so many times before and nobody took him seriously. But now all of a sudden, in 2020 in this huge election that's so important. Why is the media reporting it like it's a serious thing? Do you think that's a good insight or not?
Yeah, I think that the way that they're framing this whole thing is like, oh, just kind of a manic episode is a little disingenuous, and I think a bit of a bad faith attack on him because he has been saying this stuff for a while. Um, I don't think it's like, oh, he doesn't know what he's saying. He's talking and he's not aware because he's having a bipolar episode. I think that's a little bit of a cop out.
Really? You think he really intends to run for president?
I think he does. Yes. I don't think he will, but I think he wants to. But he wants to do like 200 different things at once. That's how he is. He tweeted out last week. I remember that tweet he put out of all the partnership with the
things.
Gap,
Yeah.
and then a Dr. Dre album, and then a
Yeah.
cartoon series with Takashi Murakami,
Yeah.
and then a single, and like maybe 75% of it actually came out. He does that all the time, and then we will never hear about it again. And I don't think it's because he doesn't want to do those things. I think he just spreads himself so thin and then just picks and chooses, and then things get lost. I think this will be one of those things.
The presidency.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is, though, as Dan's pointed out, is that he's so late. He's not on the ballot on the biggest states already. And even if he still hasn't filed any kind of paperwork to show that he has any kind of serious intent to run on other states he hasn't missed the deadline on. So it seems like it's definitely not going to happen. And I find it strange that so many people are taking this seriously. I see, like, especially on Reddit, like very serious conversations about how Kanye is going to siphon votes off Joe Biden and he's helping out Trump. But to me, it doesn't seem like I'm just surprised that so many people are taking this seriously when he has not made even the slightest effort to actually get on the ballot.
Well, he makes it sound like he did. I don't know what. I haven't followed him before or any of this stuff, so I don't know what it sounded like before when he talked about presidency. But just in that interview, he makes it sound like he is serious about it. I don't know.
Prior to this as well, he kept saying 2024. That was his thing, and then it seems like he pulled back on that for some reason. But I don't think he's going to run right now, but I do think maybe this is him testing the waters, getting the information for how he would have to do it properly next time. And then I could legitimately see him doing it in 4 years from now.
But I think, Hila, to maybe answer your question, is that there are public filings that you have to make in order to get on the ballot, right?
Right.
Which he has not done. So he's
he
just
hasn't
literally
registered
not on the
anything.
ballot. So that's kind of the problem. That's why I don't really see it as a serious thing. But Ian, if he ran in 4 years, would you consider voting for him?
No.
What? So why is that? Why wouldn't you vote for your
It
idol?
doesn't
Likes
align
the
with my
music.
ideals as a voter.
Oh, there you go.
To vote for him would be disingenuous to myself, I think.
Well, let me read you some of his platform, and then you can tell me which parts you maybe agree with or don't agree with. His family says he's in the midst of a bipolar episode, which you touched on. Here are some of his platform beliefs, Ian. Okay. On vaccines, he says, it's so many of our children that are being vaccinated and paralyzed. So when they say the way they're going to fix COVID is with a vaccine, I'm extremely cautious. That's the mark of the beast. They want to put chips inside of us. They want to do all kinds of things to make it where we can't cross the gates of heaven. I'm sorry when I say they, the humans that have the devil inside them. And the sad thing is that the saddest thing is that we all won't make it to heaven, that there'll be some of us that do not make it. Next question. Thoughts on vaccine?
I just love that. Next question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Moving
that.
on.
I've definitely thoroughly answered that.
Dude, he started with vaccines paralyze our kids to if you get vaccines, you can't go to heaven.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're putting chips in you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite on board with that. As you mentioned earlier, it's the reluctance towards vaccines is becoming so widespread. It's very interesting.
Yeah, we saw we were looking at a poll that said like if a vaccine became available against coronavirus, only 50% of people said they would get it. And you need 90% at least for it to be effective. On abortion, he says, I'm pro-life because I am following the word of the Bible. Has he always been religious, Ian, or is this a new meme?
Yeah, but I think he started self-describing as born again. Probably at the beginning of last year, like January of last year, maybe a little earlier. So that's the other thing when people say, oh, he's just, these comments are coming because he's in some episode. No, this is a couple of these things are linked to his new faith and not coming out of an episode. He's been talking in these ways for a while now.
Well, being pro-life is obviously no surprise. A lot of people are pro-life. On Joe Biden, a lot of people just like political parties. They feel all blacks have to be Democrats. That man, Joe Biden, said, if you don't vote for me, then you are not black. That's true. He did say that. Well, act like we didn't. We all act like we didn't hear that. We act like we didn't hear that man say that. That man said that. It's a wrap. We're going to walk all the people. Jay-Z said it best. For the other candidate, I just gracefully suggest y'all bow out. Trump, Biden, bow out. It's God's country. We're doing everything in service of God. Nobody but God, no more. I'm in service of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I put everything I got on the line to serve God. Thoughts? That's what he thinks about Joe Biden. Yeah, there's not much to say about it. Yeah. So I think people are taking it seriously. It's not really serious.
Do you think he's having a manic episode right now, or?
I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to play that game.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
how could you possibly know? I just see articles saying like people like his family
I
members
just
say.
don't know, like, how are people supposed to react to this stuff? Like,
I also
am I
think,
supposed
though,
to
like,
take this thing seriously, or am I
Yeah.
supposed to be worried for him? Like, I just don't understand.
there's a bit of mixed, like, for example, all this coming from the article from Forbes, which I feel like their presentation is a little, I don't know, a little. I'm skeptical of how they're presenting this because they said this is all taken from a 4-hour recorded conversation, and they took out these bits, which totaled to about 45 seconds,
Right.
minute of talking. What happened the other 3 hours and 59 minutes?
Yeah.
Why just these? They haven't given us the full cut. They released these like little audio pieces about yesterday, the day before, where he freestyled a little bit during the call, but they're kind of hiding it in the way, and then it's like presenting it like they want you to think, oh, this dude's losing his mind, but then also reporting on it as if he's a serious candidate. I don't know. These
It's
mixed
very
signals being put
confusing.
out
Yeah.
are odd.
I had that same feeling, Ian, because they said we sat down with him for 4 hours, but the article does not say that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, where is all of this content and substance in a 4-hour interview? What, did you just sit there quietly for 3.5 hours? I don't get it.
I mean, the interviewer probably did while he rambled for 4 hours.
Yeah, but surely there's more to say than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely mixed messages there.
And you also made a really good point that they don't. The interviewer never asks him about his mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he continues to imply that he's mentally unwell, but he never outright asks, "Are you having a manic episode right now?"
Yeah, I'm very confused by all of this. I really don't know what to make of it. I really just kind of, I hope he's doing okay. I hope he doesn't run for president, and that's kind of it. That's kind of it, really.